Happy Friday night, everybody. I'm Hawk, and thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, please click like, leave a comment, please subscribe to my page. It's free. We're going to talk about Donald Trump's corruption and cryptocurrency tonight, and it's one of these things where it's just like you read about this stuff and you're like, this can't possibly be real. There's no possible way that this is real, and it is. I saw a headline recently that said the reason that Donald Trump is doing this all out in the open is because he believes that there's nobody who can stop him. And that article was mainly about all of the unconstitutional things that he's doing, all of the illegal things that he's doing within the executive branch. But it also applies to his corruption, which when you start to look at his financial corruption, when you start to look at this crypto stuff, it's mind blowing. So, we're going to talk about a few different things here. About 2 months before the 2020 election, Donald Trump and his sons launched World Liberty Financial, which was a crypto venture that recently, last week, World Liberty Financial announced that it had completed an initial sale of its crypto coins, raising $300 million. And then we're going to talk about a couple of days before the inauguration. I think 3 days before the inauguration, Trump announced another meme coin that was valued at billions and billions and billions of dollars. But back to World Liberty Financial for a moment and the pay-to-play quid pro quo that is becoming so commonplace in this administration. Under the Biden administration, they had launched an investigation and were seeking criminal charges against a guy named Justin Sun, who is a Chinese-born cryptocurrency billionaire who apparently did lots and lots of things that were illegal, and he was about to be held accountable for those things. Well, then Donald Trump got elected. And between the period of time where World Liberty Financial crypto coins went on sale 2 months before the election and election day itself, Justin Sun bought $75 million of those worth of those crypto coins. That company was owned by Donald Trump and his two sons, Don Jr. and Eric Jr. I know it's not Eric Jr. I just say Eric Jr. because that amuses me and I think it's funny. The key thing about that crypto coin is when you would buy one of those crypto coins, part of the deal was that it required a 75% royalty payment to be paid to World Liberty Financial that was owned by Donald Trump, Don Jr., and Eric Jr. So when Justin Sun purchased $75 million worth of World Liberty Financial crypto assets, the company owned by Donald Trump and his two sons received a 75% royalty fee of approximately $57 million directly into their pockets. Yeah. Shortly after Donald Trump became president, he ordered his Department of Justice to discontinue its investigation into Justin Sun. And that investigation and any charges that were initiated have been dropped. And it only cost him $75 million, $57 million of which went to the President of the United States. So there's that. Think about Donald Trump's first term. He, during the election, he leased an old post office in Washington, D.C. and made Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C. And foreign leaders quickly became aware that if they wanted to meet with President Trump, if they wanted to have some influence over President Trump, they needed to book a shit ton of rooms at Trump DC Hotel. And during Donald Trump's presidency, that hotel generated $150 million for the Trump organization. After Trump left office, he sold his interest in that hotel for $127 million. I thought that was bad, directly profiting off the office of the presidency. And yeah, we have this thing called the Emoluments Clause in the Constitution, which says that the President of the United States is not allowed to accept gifts or money from foreign leaders absent express consent of Congress. And when Emoluments Clause cases made their way up to the Supreme Court on these fact patterns, this Supreme Court was like, and found that Donald Trump had done nothing wrong, giving him his first pass to break the law. The second, the immunity decision, came a few years later. So, Donald Trump was a longtime cryptocurrency skeptic. He thought it was a Ponzi scheme. He thought it was fraud. He thought it was a scam. And then cryptocurrency companies started dumping tens of millions of dollars into his campaign. And they dumped millions and millions and millions of dollars into his inaugural fund after he won the election. So he quickly came around on cryptocurrency and decided that his was going to be the most friendly administration to cryptocurrency that this country has ever seen, in contrast to the administration of Joe Biden, which was seeking to heavily regulate the cryptocurrency industry because so many people had basically lost their entire life savings by investing in cryptocurrency, which is allegedly money that is backed by nothing. Kind of like the US dollar. What are you going to do, man? So Donald Trump coming into his second term, knowing that this Supreme Court gives two shits about the Emoluments Clause and had given him almost blanket immunity for criminal activity while in office, he and his sons launched World Liberty Financial 2 months before election day, and after they sold their $300 million worth, that resulted in about $220 million going directly into the Trump's pockets. And then on the Friday night before Inauguration Day, I think Inauguration Day was on Monday this year, that Friday night, Donald Trump announced that he was going to start the Trump meme coin. And curiously, earlier this year, the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, issued official guidance saying that meme coins, a type of cryptocurrency based on an online joke or a celebrity mascot, will not be subject to oversight by the agency. How convenient. And so what makes the Trump meme coin? There are several things that make it special. He announced it via Truth Social on January 18th when it was trading at a market cap of about $2.5 billion. By around 12 p.m. on January 19th, it was trading at a market cap of $15 billion, and which had dipped a little bit on Inauguration Day to about $12 to $13 billion. Again, fabricated out of nothing, just invented out of whole cloth. It's not stock in a company. It's not backed by any physical asset of any kind at all. It is backed by the image and prestige of Pervert Hoover, Fat Nixon, Donald Trump. And there are two things that are very important about this. So let's say that there's a potential, of $15 billion worth of Trump meme coins that exist. Who purchases those are not public. That information is not publicly disclosed. And so any foreign government, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, anybody can purchase huge chunks of that meme coin and then through back channels get proof of that purchase to Donald Trump in order to curry favor with him. He is selling access to the president of the United States. He is selling the influence of the president of the United States for money that he benefits from personally, directly, 100%. And so we're, about 100 days into the existence of meme coin. And this past Wednesday, a very flashy announcement went out online that people could get the most exclusive invitation in the world, a chance to have an intimate private dinner with Donald Trump at his members-only golf course in Virginia, followed by a guided tour of the White House. A seat at said dinner would be reserved for the top 220 investors in the Trump meme coin. Again, explicitly selling access to the president and the White House to people who give him large sums of money. In an astonishing escalation of the Trump family's efforts to profit from crypto, a website promoting the Trump meme coin said the president's so-called coin announced on Wednesday, in effect, an offer of access to the White House and to the president in exchange for an investment in one of Trump's crypto ventures. Have dinner with President Trump and the Trump meme coin community. Let the president know how many Trump meme coins you own. Obviously, this creates more ethical conflicts than has ever existed for any president in the history of the United States. Again, he's just doing it out in the open because he doesn't think there's anybody who can stop him. And he doesn't give a damn what people think of him anymore. He's here. He is in office to destroy democracy, destroy the executive branch, and get as rich as he possibly can. All three of those things in the shortest amount of time possible. It's just, but here's the thing, and I was wondering about this. As news of the dinner invitation spread on social media, the price of Trump meme coins surged more than 60%, suggesting that investors were rushing to accumulate enough coins to get a seat at the dinner, and that type of a rush drove the price up. And the only reason there was that type of a rush is because the company that Donald Trump owns that sells and holds these meme coins put out this announcement. If you want access to the president and the White House, you better buy some Trump meme coin. Now, again, there are royalties associated with this coin, and there are, I don't even know what the word would be, charges associated with facilitating the sale of these coins. And both of those go to a different company that is also owned by Donald Trump. In the days following the release of the meme coin, 3 days before inauguration, they sold enough of it that they generated $100 million just in those fees. And again, $100 million going directly to Donald Trump and his family. And so Donald Trump is explicitly profiting off of the office of the presidency. The White House refused to comment. Eric Trump Jr., who is involved in this, he refused to comment. And wow, earlier I said $300 million for World Liberty Financial. I'm reading a more recent article that increased that figure to $550 million, which means $412.5 million just went to the Trump family for literally nothing. They invented a digital meme coin that exists in the digital universe and is literally nothing. And they made $412.5 million off of it. At least $57 million of that came from Justin Sun. And then once Donald Trump got into office, he ordered the SEC and the FBI and the DOJ to stop investigating Justin Sun because Justin Sun had paid him a $57 million, in effect, bribe. And so again, I was wondering about the timing of this. because the dinner announcement obviously generated a lot of interest in these coins, which is reasonable to calculate that that would happen. We're going to let you have dinner with Trump and then give you a tour of the White House, but you have to be one of the top 220 owners of this coin. It seems reasonable to presume that that would cause a rush on the purchases and sales of that coin. And so here's something interesting. When this coin went on sale in January, a large stash of the coins were allocated to the project's backers, the people who paid to get it off the ground. But the rules that were built into the offering prevented those insiders from selling any of their coins until a few days ago, raising fears that they would try to offload their holdings and cause the Trump coin price to drop even further. Instead, the price surged in the days before the invitation was released and then surged again as the announcement went live. So it's a pump and dump. It's an explicit pump and dump. They made this announcement and they're going to hold this dinner. They made the announcement specifically to drive the price up so that these insiders who weren't permitted to sell their coins until last week now they could sell at a 60% premium over what the price was a week ago. And they could sell all of those coins to all of these rubes who think, I'm going to get to go to the White House, Martha. Martha, we're going to the White House. I'm buying the meme coin. I got the Trump meme coin. It's a fucking scam. The entire thing is a fucking scam. And the only reason that it exists at all is because Donald Trump got reelected in 2024. It's just, he's using the White House and the office of the presidency for a cryptocurrency pump and dump. Explicitly, out in the open. And nobody's going to stop him because he controls the Department of Justice and the FBI. And now the SEC, who has said that these types of coins are outside of their jurisdiction and will not be regulated. And it's just blatant. It's all out in the open. Under any other set of circumstances, all of this would be explicitly illegal. But, you know, freedom. What do I know? I'm just a dumb country lawyer. Anyway, again, if you enjoyed this video, please click like, leave a comment, subscribe to my page. It's free. Please check out our merch store at hawkmerchstore.com, where you can get your Donald Trump is still a convicted felon t-shirts. And I think we have one that just says, fuck Elon Musk. I may be wrong on that. Anyway, it's a little after 7 p.m. West Coast time on Friday. So I hope everybody has an amazing and a fun and a safe weekend. If you're protesting this weekend, please do so safely and do not give the police any reason to arrest you because they're looking for one. Have a great weekend, everybody.